Hi everyone, welcome to Urban Outdoor Adventures. We're up here on Stoney Lake this week. We're going for musky, but we're also going for panfish and bass on the fly. It's going to be a bit of a mixed match show, but stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it and you might learn something.
Urban Outdoor Adventures, teaching anglers and outdoor enthusiasts when, where, and how. Urban Outdoor Adventures, sponsored by Prince Craft Boats. The more you know, the better we look. Rapala, crafted from experience. Columbia Sportswear. Avoid road rage. Stay out of cars.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. We're up here on beautiful Stoney Lake this weekend. We're actually up here for a few days. I'm up here with a couple of friends of mine. I've got Jim Harold here, and I got my buddy Wayne down there having a nap. We're actually going to be heading out with you, Jim. We're going to probably head out. You wanted to do some musky fishing, right?
Well, I sure hope so. I'm looking forward to it. I think it could be a challenge for us, but we're going to have a great time.
It's going to be a huge challenge, I think. And Wayne is actually a fly fisherman, so we're going to head out and show you some fly fishing techniques for bass and panfish and so on. It's unseasonably warm weather right now. As you can see, we're in shorts and t-shirts and so on, and it's actually like mid-October right now, so not quite what we expected. We usually come up to Burley Falls the end of the year because we like somewhere comfortable with the colder weather and so on. But we're going to get out and give it a shot. The local reports have actually been quite bad. The locals are saying that the fishing's just been awful. I have a feeling that the warm weather has shut the fish down completely. But we're going to get out there and give it a try and see what we can do. And stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it.
This week on Urban Outdoor Adventures, Shaun, Wayne Hartford, and Jim Harold tackle warm front conditions on Stoney Lake. Located in southern Ontario, Stoney Lake is only 1 hour and 30 minutes from Toronto and a mere 20 minutes from Peterborough, Ontario. The boys booked into Burleigh Island Lodge. You will find the lodge nestled adjacent to scenic Burleigh Falls on Highway 28 in Burleigh Falls, Ontario, just over the bridge on the right-hand side as you drive north into town. The pristine falls offer an unprecedented backdrop to a piece of southern Ontario paradise. Shaun chose this lodge for the trip as it offers very comfortable accommodations and a licensed bar and restaurant. Here, visitors can enjoy a first-class meal and impeccable service. Other attractive aspects include a convenient boat launch and docking facilities, swimming pool, and a convenient general store and gas station. Due to an unseasonable warm front, locals were reporting poor fishing. It is extremely rare to see temperatures in the high 20s in October. The boys knew that in order to catch fish, they would need to be versatile. In the first part of the show, Shaun targets bass with Wayne Hartford. The boys go head-to-head using two very different presentations, competing to see who can succeed in getting the somewhat weather-shocked bass to bite. Wayne utilized fly equipment and Shaun his regular tackle. In the second part of the show, a cold front came in, so Shaun and Jim Harold targeted musky in several bays. The boys tirelessly cover water as they race to beat the incoming rains. This week's target species are small and largemouth bass and musky. Other popular sport fish species available are walleye, carp, perch, and panfish. For more information on subjects featured in today's show, log on to our website.
We're up on Stoney Lake, throwing surface baits right now. Wayne, you'll see, is actually an avid fly fisherman by the equipment that he's using there. He plans today to show me that this equipment is just as effective as the regular gear that we use on the show there. And that's pretty much a reflection of the way the day was going to go. Wayne and I headed out first thing in the morning. We fished from sunrise to sunset. We pounded and we pounded. We headed into a few shallow bays that have produced some big fish for us in the past, but all we got were a few little guys. Wayne managed to get a couple of fish on the fly with his crayfish and his spiders. Nothing real spectacular. I managed to take a couple of slightly larger fish off the docks with a tube, but the extremely warm October weather really seemed to shut those fish down.
I switched to this floater and threw this little spider on, but at the same time I've caught 3 or 4 pound bass on spiders just like this, because I mean, for a fish it's you know, it's like return on investment. They're not going to chase a small bait that's going to give them a small amount of energy and expend a lot of energy, but if you present it to an area where there's a big fish, he'll hit that just like he'll hit some of your little baits.
Bear in mind here, guys, it's 27 degrees Celsius in mid-October. Despite our hard efforts, all we were able to land were a few small bass and some panfish, and that's when the sarcasm started.
I'm glad I have a small fireplace, so that would go over it.
That's right. We even dropped out to some deeper areas outside the shallow bays where we thought there might be smallmouth or largemouth that had moved out, but all we got into was one smallmouth, and that was about it. I put on that slash bait. Remember I was telling you about that?
I watched you switch to it.
And that's a nice fish.
That is a lovely small.
Oh, look at that. Jumping right by the boat. I gotta see if I can grab this without getting hooks in me.
Good job.
And what we've done, we were in the shallow bays. That's a beautiful little smallmouth for Stoney Lake. And we came out into a little bit deeper water. We figured the bigger fish would have started moving out towards their wintering holes. That's probably a 3 pound fish. It's a good,
nice looking fish.
Good heavy fish.
Healthy looking fish too, eh?
Let's get it back in the water.
He pounded it.
There we go. This is actually one of those baits that, unless you work it, what you want to do when you're fishing like this, especially above these weeds here, is cast it out, reel it down a couple of turns just to get it down there, then twitch, twitch, and I'll give it a slight pause, twitch, twitch, and that bait will start darting around all over the place. And important thing, look at the line there. You're actually using the rod to twitch the bait. You're not using the reel.
But you know, the story of 10% of the fishermen catching 90% of the fish, you see so many people just chuck that kind of stuff out and reel it back in.
Yeah.
And you're going to catch the odd fish. If they're biting, they're going to hit it. But it's really that kind of action that makes a difference.
You hit the nail right on the head there. It is. It's a case of doing that something a little bit different, mixing it up. With a cold front finally approaching, and after seeing some muskie in those back bays, it was time for a change of plan.
So what I'm doing, Shaun, is actually a great way to learn how to do this, because there's no hook on it. You're not going to get caught up. You're not going to snag things. But in 10 minutes, you'll be able to put this out far enough so that you can start fly fishing. You can go buy yourself an inexpensive outfit and literally go do this in the parking lot.
It seems to be a very relaxed, there's hardly, you're putting no effort into that whatsoever. Really.
Yeah, it's like anything else. When people do it right, it looks easy. So do you think you want to give that a try?
Sure.
There you are, Squire. Again, it's actually tougher for a fisherman than it is for somebody who hasn't fished, because you're used to throwing a weight out at the end, and that's what you'll be trying to do. So it's just easy. Pick that whole thing up and just move it back and forth. So you got your rod tip right to the ground. Your rod tip should be stopping way up here. Abbreviate the whole upward part.
Yeah, but I can't believe it's actually going out there for me.
Yeah.
It feels, it's definitely not something I'm familiar with.
But you know, the point is now you're actually getting it cast out there. Interesting for you to try, Shaun, is move the rod just a very small bit over your head and watch what happens to the line. Just move it very slowly back and forth over your head and hesitate at each end. Now look at that. See the way the line's rolling out there? You're still going too far. Look at that nice roll.
That. Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. And as I say, it's so different than what you're used to. Look at that.
That's
nice
right.
rod.
Well, you know, the thing is, with a bait caster or a spinning rod,
you're trying to throw it. There's a nice roll.
I would end up with my rod almost pointing straight out in front of me.
That's right. Oh, exactly. Which you're still going a little too far. Just keep it right up here. Wait, yeah, that's even higher. But you'll feel the thing load and you'll feel it shoot if you take it back less. But you see, now you can actually go fly fishing. And you know, it just adds a dimension to the sport. It's good fun.
Oh, there we go, Jim. Whoa!
All right.
What we've done, we've been getting a lot of follows from some big muskie and small ones, so we've downsized our baits and slowed it way down. We're slow rolling these baits. Now, The benefit of the smaller baits, of course, is that you can get into some good good bass as well. It's not a bad smallmouth. Look at that. A long, lean
nice
fish. Let's get the hook out here.
Nice and healthy looking.
Yeah. There we go. As I say, the key here is we were getting a lot of follows, downsized our baits, and this guy just happened to pick up the spinnerbait that I was using. Let him go. There he goes. All right, look at that, Jimmy.
Good fish. Get him in here.
I tell you what, man, it's been a long, hard slog. I tell you, we've been putting in a lot of hours out here. We've downsized our baits, we've tried everything. And it's actually nearly getting dark here now. And I just managed to get this fish on. Looks like quite a nice fish too. Good size. I'm guessing about 40 inches. Oh, there he goes.
Ooh,
okay, can I get you to do me a favor, Jim? If you just go in this locker here, there's a cradle in there. We're gonna probably need that for this guy.
All right.
Oh, he's wrapped in the line. It's, I gotta tell you, with musky fishing, don't give up. I mean, we've been pounding the water pretty much all day here, eh, Jim?
Yeah, we sure
And,
have.
oh, he's wrapped in the line. I got a free spool in there, see if it'll come out. What I've done there is he's wrapped in the line, so I've got my free spool running in case he runs. There we go, he's out. Okay, you wanna come up the front here, Jim? And what we're gonna do, there we go. We're just gonna, oh, he's not quite ready yet. Okay, I'm gonna just lead him into the cradle. You wanna get it down deep. Okay, scoop him up. We got him. He's in the cradle, and it counts, buddy. All right. I tell you, I can't say it enough. We've been pounding the water all day long. Patience, an experiment. We've had follows in here. I had a few come up that actually followed the figure 8. While we downsized the spinnerbaits, we had a few fish come up. I got in the water, did the figure 8, the fish followed it, but just wouldn't hit. We've been coming back to this spot, I think, 3 or 4 times now today, eh, Jim?
Yeah.
And it's just getting dark here now, and the fish finally hit. So, moral of the story is, don't give up, be patient, and you'll get one. You'll notice I've got these long pliers here. Allows me to get in there and keep my fingers clear of the hooks. I'll get that one out. Oh, he's wrapped up in it now. There we go, we got it. I'll get the hook out of the net later. I want to get a picture of this, mate.
Perfect.
Mind taking a shot of me holding this?
Yeah, love to.
Perfect. Patience is the key, eh?
Key.
Good stuff.
CPR. Brought to you by Nikon Digital Cameras.
Hey, Jimmy, the camera's right on the dash there if you don't mind grabbing it,
Okay,
mate.
great.
I'm going to get this fish out of here.
Get a picture.
We use a digital camera, that way you can take as many shots as you want, and you're going to get one decent one out of it. Always support the fish. There you go, mate. If you back up there a little bit, I'll go right here. Perfect. Let's get a quick couple of shots and get it back in the water.
Parcheesi.
Musky.
Musky.
All right, let's get her back in the water here, Jim.
Perfect.
You always got to make sure that you revive these fish. Give them a bit of time to take off. Yeah, I can feel her. Once they start flexing like that, see how she's moving? Oh, there she goes. All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
Perfect.
Thanks for your help.
Excellent.
It's time now for the Angler's View, brought to you by Pure Energy Rechargeable Batteries. Shaun's muskie hit an inline bucktail cast down the side of an isolated hump. Let's dissect some of the factors involved here. The rocky hump measured 80 feet long by 30 feet wide. Deep water displaying scattered sparse weeds surrounded the structure. Depths around the hump were 16 to 18 feet. The hump itself tapered up from the lake bottom to depths of 8 to 4 feet below the surface. Shaun observed towering milfoil covering the entire structure, which reached the surface on upper portions of the hump. After closer inspection, it became apparent that much of the fauna was dead or dying, a natural process in the fall. However, Shaun observed healthier green weeds along the head and outside edge. Schools of small bait fish and fry could be seen holding in this healthier milfoil. Shaun knew that where there is bait, there are smaller predators that would make a satisfying meal for a post-winter muskie. The strike zone in this scenario was the healthy band of weed running from the head of the hump to the halfway point down the outside edge. This particular muskie hit a double muskie buck in black with a number 5 Fire Tiger blade. The bait was retrieved at various speeds until a fish hit. In this case, it was a slow to moderate retrieval speed that triggered interest. This particular bay hosted 3 humps with similar characteristics. Shaun cast his bait at various angles parallel and horizontal to the structure on each of the humps, using his trawling motor to maneuver the boat into the most advantageous casting positions. Other productive lures on this trip were manta gliding jerk baits. Try slowing down your retrieve in the fall. For more information on subjects featured in today's show, log on to our website.
We get a lot of emails from people asking about digital photography. A lot of people seem to be intimidated. We're here with Greg Flash. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how to get it from your camera to the computer?
Absolutely, very simple. Easiest, if your computer happens to be equipped with a card slot, simply take the card out of your camera, plug it into your card slot, away you go. If you don't have that, you can purchase one of these card readers. Again, you just plug the card into the appropriate slot. It connects via USB cable to your computer. Your pictures upload. Third option is to take your camera with the card still in it, upload the pictures directly to your computer by connecting with the USB cable. And then the fourth option with this particular camera is a Wi-Fi capability, so you're sending the pictures wirelessly to your computer.
The beauty of this is you get it on the computer, you can downsize the files for email and post it on message boards, and for printing and so on, you want those high-res files.
Keep your original file size, get them looking the way you want, then just take your card, take it to a printer, or if you have a printer at home, print them out yourself.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Greg.
Thank you.
We've been fishing a variety of structure throughout the day. Been sort of, I guess, following somewhat of a winter pattern. The fish seem lethargic, I think, due to the warm weather. What we're fishing here are rock humps that have weed right up to the top of them, but then drop down very deep. We're actually on the outside edge here in about 16 feet of water, and we're just fishing around those edges. Anywhere where there's structure with clean weed that the fish are going to relate to, we're trying to key in on the deep edges of that. Did you see that? Wow. I tell you what, the weather's changed here, and these fish have turned on. It's been unbelievably warm all week, and we've had 27-degree temperatures for a couple of days while we've been up here, and the cold front finally came in, and I'm convinced, my theory is that this actually, there he is, that this is actually a reverse situation of a cold front affecting the fishing. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Oh, he's not going anywhere, he's well hooked.
You get all 3 trails.
Did you see him come out of the water?
He did.
He woke up again.
Yeah, he doesn't like the looks of this net.
No, that's, and you sort of scoop him up there, Jim. Perfect. All right, now we can stop working on this fish. These cradles are a very important tool when you're musky fishing, especially when you've got a fish that's hooked deep like this. What this is going to allow me to do, if you hold this up here, Jim.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get down here and get this. It's a good job we got that titanium leader on there. He's just absolutely inhaled it. Look at the teeth on that guy. You don't want to get your hand in there, Jim.
No.
You get this first hook
Beautiful
out.
color, that fish as well.
Yeah, he's got nice stripes on him, eh? It's actually down near his gills. I don't want to hurt this fish, but I'm also worried because he keeps thrashing. I'm getting one of these trebles in there, so. There we go. Yeah, I got it. Fish. Look at that.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful. Let me show the people at home here. Look at that. Stony Lake, Kawartha Musky. Right. I tell you what, we came up here expecting mainly to be fishing for bass and panfish on the fly. The fishing was very slow, the weather was just unbelievably warm, and we started to notice when the cold front started coming in, a lot of muskie following. So I always bring a mixture of equipment. That would be my advice, to make sure you've got a good assortment of tackle with you, to make sure that, you know, if this opportunity arises, that you're in a situation where you can take advantage of it. The weather changed, cold front came in, which in this particular situation worked in our favor and got these fish turned back on. When the muskie are on, I'm going for him. There he goes. Beautiful, straight down into those weeds there. Good stuff, man.
All right.
I gotta tell you, everybody, Poor Jimmy here, he's been casting all day long. He has had a couple of fish on, but unfortunately he hasn't managed to keep one on long enough to get it to the boat.
But I know how to get him now anyway. It's fantastic.
It's not over yet, mate.
Not over yet.
I want to take you through the baits we've been using this week. We usually do this outside, but it's actually raining and the fishing's picked up. It's pretty hot right now, so I want to get back out there if I seem to be going a little fast. For musky, we've been using the single and double bucktails. We've got the gliding jerk baits, the crankbaits for those deep rock edges and weed lines. For bass, we've got these slash baits here in the silver and black with the red trailer. Spinner baits, of course. Notice that we've got leaders on all of these baits. A good titanium or stainless steel leader will suffice. You want to have those on because there's a lot of musky in the area. Chances are you're going to hook up with one. For the bass in the back bays, we were using these soft plastic twitch baits. I got a leader on this one as well because we saw some musky in those back bays also. We've got the weedless tube here with a weight inside that we're using for flipping around those docks and lily pads. And we've got the 1/4 ounce jig head on the tube here for fishing down those rock drop-offs and so on. Wayne was using the fly rod, as you know, with a mixture of the spider here, the crayfish. These flies here don't look like much here, but in the water, very lifelike. We've got a good selection of colored plastics here. Wayne was using fly gear, as you know, 7 to 8 weight rod and reel combination with a sinking line. For the bass, he was using floating line on a 5 to 6 weight combination. And myself, for the musky, using a good quality 7 foot or 6'6" heavy musky casting rod with a good bait casting reel. For the bass and the smaller musky baits like the single bucktails, using a good bait casting reel here again with a 7 foot or 6'6" medium action bait casting outfit that you would use for bass. For the tubes, both weedless and with the 1/4 ounce jig heads, got a medium sized spinning reel here. For the weedless rigs around the docks and so on, we've got 50-pound test braided line. For the drop-offs with the 1/4 ounce jig heads, we're using 30-pound test braided line on a 6'6" medium action spinning rod. I think that pretty much wraps up the equipment we've been using. One thing I do want to point out, don't forget your digital camera. You're gonna need this, especially when you're fishing for muskie, so you can get a picture of that trophy and get them back in the water. I'm heading back out on the lake. Good luck with these baits.
Don't forget to log on to our website and post your fishing, camping, and outdoor pictures on the CPR section of our message board. If your picture is chosen as a runner-up, you could receive a brand new digital camera. Post your pictures today. You might just be our next winner.
It's a walleye, Jim.
Huge one.
I swear to God. He came up and nailed it. I thought it was a little musky, but just came up and hammered that thing. And as I say, just came up and nailed that bucktail. Look at that. Unbelievable. You just never know what you're going to get, especially when it's overcast and cool like this. And just got a nice walleye there. Well, we'll get this fish back, Jim. What do you say we go get some breakfast?
I'm ready for that.
It's getting a little chilly out here right now. That's pretty much all we have time for. We're going to keep on fishing after breakfast, but get up here to Stoney Lake and give this fishing up here a try. You just never know what you might get. We're actually muskie fishing here, picked up a walleye. We've had bass, muskie on this trip. Started out a little bit slow. The weather conditions have been somewhat adverse, and fortunately we got into some fish there when the clouds came in. I'm Shaun Rickard. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for yet another urban outdoor adventure.
Urban Outdoor Adventures, sponsored by Lakeport. Great beer, fair prices. Nikon Canada. Simply better pictures. Pure Energy, the #1 rechargeable battery in Canada.
He's an avid fly fisherman. Welcome to the show, Ray. Ray. Wake up.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Thanks,
this.
Dave. Yeah.